Before we get into this episode, though, throughout the whole episode, we learned that Gia is more than just a very talented journalist. She is a woman of many, many, many talents. Okay, y'all, she got it going on. So, how many things can you see that she could add to her LinkedIn resume? Okay, I wanna see if y'all are paying attention. How many talents can Gia add to her LinkedIn resume? Let me know. What's up, guys, and welcome back to a brand new season of It's Just Adiola, formerly known as, well, This Is Awkward. Season 1 was fun, it was, but this season is only getting better. And I couldn't imagine a better way to start off this season than with the guests we have today. There are very few people, and if y'all know me, very few people that I actually look up to and truly admire in the industry. But whenever this woman pops up on my screen, I can't help but to smile. She is a champion in amplifying the voices of Black creators, and through her career continues to be the voice behind some of the most inspirational and authentic conversations to date. You've seen her on BET, The Today Show, at some of your favorite festivals and events. Honestly, wherever she is, there is probably a ray of sunshine very close by. Everyone, please join me in welcoming Gia Peppers. Gia Peppers, how are you doing today?
Good intro, honey. That was good. Thank you. I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me.
You are literally somebody that I had on my vision board. Like, even having you on the show today is like mind-blowing because you are truly the embodiment of authenticity. And that is the theme of this season. You have been able to curate and cultivate beautiful conversations and spaces. And it's just been so inspiring to see, especially for people who are like me, who get inspired by people like you. So I gotta ask you, how did Gia Peppers become Gia Peppers?
Thank you for that. And I think there's a lot of different Spark Notes versions, but I think it's like a three-pronged story because my dad is a journalist as well. And he came up in the Northeast where it wasn't really diverse, but he moved down to DC. He met my mama, and then they had me after they got married. And one day, when I was still a baby, he brought me into his newsroom at NPR, and he had brought me back home to my parents' first home that they had just bought, and it was like no furniture in there. So it's like just a really cute like 90s moment. He's holding the huge video camera, that the one that fits your whole shoulder and the top of your head and all types of stuff. And he's retelling my mom what happened. He's telling my mom what happened during that day. And he says, oh, and Gia told everyone she wants to be a broadcaster. And I found that video 20 years, 30 years later, like almost to the date. And it was in one of those moments where I was feeling super misaligned and just over it, like over the journey, because this journey is long and tiring. And sometimes it could be overwhelming. And it was one of those days where I was just like, Lord, like, I'm tired. I don't know. And I had found it. I think it was like November 18th. He had taken that video, 1990. And I had found it on like the 20th, something like it was like 2 days later. Mm-hmm. And I just cried. And I was just like, got it. Heard you. This was so much bigger than me. This is so much more than I'll ever be able to comprehend, because it's literally the living testimony of, for I know the plans I have for you, said the Lord. It is the literal walking testimony of all things work together for the good of those who love me, who are called according to my plans and purpose. Literally all the things in that moment just can't. And I just like broke down, and I was just like, I'm so sorry for every single time I tried to give up. I'm so sorry, I'm tired, I'm weary, but I know that there's a plan that's bigger than me. And so, you know, that is, I think, the big, like the overarching like testimony moment. But the weeds of the story is when I, growing up, like I was always very alive when cameras were around. Just when a camera was around, I was there, I was on. No matter what I was feeling, I was on. And my dad has several videos of me hosting random family things. Like it was an Easter Sunday, and I was like, we're here in New York, guys. They're like 6 years old, hosting it, just telling people about us having Easter Sunday. And I always knew that I wanted to do something in entertainment. I didn't know what it was going to be, because I also grew up singing, dancing, and acting. So I always wanted to be a singer, dancer, actress as well. And so I started just using all of my gifts. And I told my mom I wanted to go to college for acting and singing. She said, that's a hobby. She was very much giving Cheryl Lee Ralph and Sister Act 2. You ain't going to be singing your shoulda, woulda, couldas on the side of the road while the rest of your friends have jobs. And my mom's a doctor. She don't really get creativity. She understands it now. But especially back then, there wasn't many, like there were more people who had broken dreams, especially in DC and Maryland, than people who actually made it. And so she was just trying to, let me know, like, hey, you should probably have a plan B. And so my plan B was journalism. My plan B was like, what, I'm great at storytelling. I love being creative. I love telling stories. And in high school, I had done the morning news and written for the newspaper and all those little things that you could do to prepare yourself. And so in college, I was like, let me get a degree in something that I would actually like to do. And I married my loves of entertainment and journalism and storytelling. And so from there, once I graduated, I interned everywhere. I interned at WPGC in DC with Donnie Simpson and Big Tigger. And then I interned at the Wendy Williams show when it's in its first 2 seasons. I interned at Live with Kelly and Michael. I was a part of a group called WEEN, which was the Women in Entertainment Empowerment Network. I was always looking for opportunities to network or learn outside of the classroom because I knew that I went to Rutgers University strategically. I knew that the hubs at that time in 2008, I knew that those times in DC did not have entertainment. It was still very much 100% politics 100% of the time. And so I knew going to school closer to New York was going to give me the access to be able to intern at the daily talk shows that I always said I wanted to be a part of. And so it was strategic for me to go to Rutgers. I went there, I did my thing. When I graduated, it was a recession, so there were no jobs. There was no fun at all. It was very much you hustle and you figure it out. And so I was doing a lot of freelance work. And then I went to the NABJ Career Fair and I got my first job at CBS Radio News. And I was overnight a news desk associate, per diem news desk associate. And so I would work from, I think, 11:30 p.m. to like 8 in the morning. I can't remember the exact shifts, but I still have the paper somewhere, so I'm gonna find it. But all in all, I was there late into early. And I remember just planning my dreams. I remember planning the foundations of my careers. And I also remember watching during the dead hours in the newsroom at the 2 to 3 a.m. hour blocks, you would be able to watch a lot of late night television and talk shows. It started to die around 11, really kind of like 11 to 3. So you would come in and I'd be able to watch a lot of those late night talk shows. And I would just dream of having my own show, what that would look like, how mine would be different. And long story short, I just kept hustling. And so I left CBS Radio News because I just knew I wasn't really a news person. Hard news is really difficult for people who are empaths and feel things with people because you have to be desensitized at some point to continue to show up as a news anchor, a news storyteller, and in helping to craft those news stories in that newsroom. Was really hard. When Sandy Hook happened, when the James Holmes shooting happened, when the Sandusky trial happened, this was all happening around the time that I was there. And my last straw was was a Sandy Hook shooting, but also during that time, one of my good friends who we had all just graduated the summer before was killed in a drive-by shooting, and it showed up on The Wire. And I was looking for things on The Wire to make sure that I didn't miss any of the things coming in. And I was like, let me look and see if her name came up, and it did. And I was just like, this is too real for me. It was too much for me. And so I left, started working in advertising for a year, and I hated it. Used to cry every day at my desk. But what was great was I swindled and kept my CBS reporter little ID. And so I used it. There was a club down the street called SOBs. Is still open and still popping. And it's basically the place where everyone in music at some point has touched it. It's a small stage, but it's like the first stage you need to master in New York. And then once you master that stage and that crowd, you're pretty much out of here. And so I remember walking in there one day on my lunch break, taking my little CBS ID, telling them I had worked for CBS Entertainment, and I wanted to get in there and tell and report and pitch things, certain artists, to my my boss at the time. who was again, I was not working there. And so I really was just going to start my own YouTube channel and get those interviews. And the man, Andre Barnes, I'll never forget him because he was the first person to kind of give me a chance. He looked at me, he was like, I know she lying, but sure. Come on. He said, look at the dates. You send me who you want to interview. I'll try to connect you with their team, and then you go from there. And so little by little, I would get interviews. My first ever interview, like on camera in that time, was with Bridget Kelly. And then I had done a interview thing with Tyrone, who was Beyonce's stylist at the time. And I was just creating all of the things I needed for my reels. From there, I started working with music exclusives, a blog, and I did my first red carpet, which was the TLC story. And I remember watching and just not being afraid to talk to people, and just Candy Burris was there. Diana Ross was there. It was very random, but it was like a very fun day. I didn't get to talk to Diana, but I got to talk to Candy and a few of the other people. And I remember other reporters looking at me like, wow, she's really good at this. And I was just like, okay. And that's when I knew it clicked, like, okay, I'm really going to be great at this. I can do this. And so, yeah, from there, I just kept hustling. I started doing all I needed to just create my reel to a point where when I could be proud of what I sent out. And so then I heard about the Wizards having auditions for the in-arena host for their home games. And one of my homegirls, who was also who went to Rutgers with me, was like, yo, my friend is the co-host, or this guy I know from a friend is the co-host. He tweeted this, you should, send it there. You from DC. And I had grown up in that arena because my parents always had season tickets. So I love basketball. I love the Wizards. And I was like, sure, I'll send it in. Didn't think nothing of it. They got back to me. We auditioned for like 4 weeks of the preseason. It was like America's Next Top Model, because we were being voted out. Like, it was like, we are consistently putting up these girls, and whoever you guys vote for will stay. And when I, at the end, it was me, I was left standing, and it felt like my city had affirmed me. Like, it was like, you're great. Go be great. And so I did that for 4 seasons. And I always say that was my grad school, because that's where I learned how to take up space in a large arena. That's where I learned to know how important it is to recover on live camera, because there is nothing more embarrassing than having 10, 15,000 people be like, ooh, when you mess up in real time. There's nothing more embarrassing. And then that's also where I met my first co-host, who's Rodney, who taught me how to speak up for myself. Rodney Rakai taught me how to speak up for myself, taught me how to just demand a little more. Like, I have always been a very nice person, and I had to learn how to take up my space, and how to be proud of myself, how to speak up for myself in a way that still kept me as humble as possible, but knowing like, yo, you're not going to disrespect me though. Like, there's a fine line.
There is
fine balance. And so, yeah, from there, I just kept hustling. BET, I sent in my reel to BET. I did BET breaks. And then I started working with Essence. I started hustling, started doing branded content when I was with Essence. And then from there, little by little by little, I literally just kept relentlessly showing up, and still doing that to this day. But yeah, that's a little bit. And then when I was at Hot 97, so while I was at the Wizards, I worked for Hot 97 and Essence at the same time. And so like I was the in-arena co-host for the Washington Wizards, but I also had opportunities to work as a associate editor, junior editor for EssenceFest.com, which was at that time a 6-month like hourly rate type of job. But I was like, I'm working at Essence, baby. I don't care. Like, I want to be in there. Let's do it. So I did that. And then also I had met Ebro doing red carpets around the city, had seen my work, and he was just like, you're dope. And so he called me in to do his website, blameebro.com, and kind of run it and hire interns, because at that time, every personality had their own website and they needed to cover all the stories instead of just hot97.com. And so I did all that. And that's where I met the girls from Black Girl Pod. And that's how we all started to do like the first popping podcast for Black girls, period. We don't call it what it is.
Honestly, listening to you speak is so inspiring. Like, it's putting a huge smile on my face, because I wasn't there during the beginning of your days, but I do remember your Black Girl Pod days. And honestly, just seeing the person you've become and you're blossoming into is so inspiring to see. From just the manifestation that your father placed on you, to you realizing this for yourself, that this is your purpose, to the confirmation of people around you. It's inspiring because this is who you're truly meant to be. You're walking in the purpose that God has ordained for you and your steps. And I just got to ask you, what do your prayers sound like and what does your vision board look like? You know, everyone can say that they're praying and everyone can say they're creating a vision board, but you got to be intentional with those things. So I have to ask you, how is Gia Peppers intentional with her prayers and her vision board?
Today they look like, Lord, I'm tired. Give me this day my daily bread to do what I need to do, because like some days it's just really hard. There is so much that they don't teach you in journalism school about the business side of all of this. Journalism and storytelling have changed so drastically. Both of them they've changed to the point of, once you learn how to tell a story, you're good, but there's so much more to what a storyteller can do in this day and age that could be you utilizing your own platform. So someone needs to teach you how to run an LLC and file taxes and learn how to do that. If you're a person that does get a job in a place, that's the more traditional way, but non-traditional media is where most of the journalists that I know are actually flourishing. So it's a lot of us who are working, these different gigs, one-offs, doing great reporting, but they also don't tell you, like, you might need a manager for that. You might need an agent. Like, there's a lot of different things that all of us have to learn blindly and kind of figure out on the way. So I think my prayers right now look like, Lord, align me with the people who are going to help take me towards the vision that I know you put in my heart for a reason. Lord, show me the steps, the strategies, the rooms I need to be in. Lord, show me how to rest when I need to rest. Lord, don't Lord, just supply me. I know you are giving me these things and I know you're a provider. So Lord, show me, how I can be thankful for the provisions that you are putting in my life. Lord, let me focus so I can write these things and do these things that you need me to do. And so my prayers also look like, Lord, where's my husband? Lord, when time is he pulling up? Because I'm sick of the lonely life. It's annoying out here and dating is hard. And what? Oh, okay. Got it. When? That's all I want to know. Really. But it also looks like, Lord, cover my family. Lord, elevate my brother and my sister who are following their own dreams. Lord, make sure my mom and dad are happy and good. Lord, make sure my best friends are safe and healthy and thriving. Lord, protect us from all hurt, harm, and danger, because there's a lot of evil out here that is consistently, seemingly growing, in ways that we haven't really seen before. Lord, protect my mind. Lord, help me guard my heart. But Lord, help me not put up walls around my heart so I don't feel the good either. Because sometimes you put up walls around your heart to protect your heart, but then next thing you know, you're not feeling joy. You got walls also keep things in just as well as they keep things out. So I always am praying for that balance and praying for God to show me, praying for God to use me. That has been my consistent prayer, is God, use me because I'm a vessel of what you want to see done in this world. I have a platform. What do I do with it today? Which is why every day, like if I will not post without putting up a scripture for morning meditation. A long time ago, I made that decision a long time ago. Like, if people have been following me for years, they know they open my stories, the first thing they're going to see is the scripture. And it's just a promise that I made to God that there will not be a day that goes by where if someone is on my page, they won't first meet you. And that's just what it is. And I just don't play about it. And I know some people are like, why you guys do that? But then some people love it. Like, they're like, girl, I love that you post it every day. Because it's just, it's an agreement that I made with God a long time ago. Like, Lord, I don't know what you got for me in this career life. This is interesting. But one thing I do know is that when I share anything, it's going to be you first. And so, yeah, my prayers are always consistently, Lord, use me. Lord, elevate me when it's time. And Lord, give me the strength to get through whatever it is I'm going through. Because it's never easy, but it's always worth it.
Gia's prayers. That's what I'm gonna call it. Gia's prayers. Because the way you structure out your prayers and the way you really lay everything out, that's the intention I was just talking about. Like, you are so intentional with every single thing you do, and you can see it in the way you walk and in your life. And you talked about God's alignment. And so I wanna dive deeper into alignment. The industry of entertainment can be a very fickle industry and it can have your faith very challenged. And so I want to ask you, what does it mean to accept things that serve you and reject the things that don't? We know opportunities will start knocking at your door, and not every single opportunity you need to answer. So, how do you decipher which ones you're going to answer and which ones you don't? And for those that you don't answer, do you ever regret not taking those certain opportunities?
Yeah, I've been doing this for a long time at this point. I've been doing this for 10 years, almost 10 years, maybe 8 professionally, but like 10 years since I graduated college. And what happens is you got to take the things that aren't for you so you can really study how your spirit feels. Usually if it's not meant for you, it'll be something that makes you feel less than. It'll be something where you have to fight for people to treat you like a human being. It'll be an interaction that makes you question if you are talented or worthy of being in that space. Your spirit will guide you. So always, I'm big on journaling. That's another thing. Like my prayer is like half on my knees, but also like 75% of that is just like me. I'm an overthinker, unpacking a lot of the things that are going through my mind and then just seeing it all and praying. And sometimes if it's like a really crazy day and I'm spiraling, I will have to put like what I'm thinking versus the truth literally in 2 columns just to see the difference and then speak that over myself to get back in the center, because sometimes you just get off center a little bit. But you have to, I think that there will come a time where you have taken enough that you will see what really is for you by how you feel when you walk away from it. How did the people on set make you feel? How did you make the people on set feel? How did you add something to this environment? And did you get anything from that makes you feel like other people will? Did something in that conversation or that hosting or that moment make it worth it? Sometimes the best things that I've done have nothing to, I've probably spent more money going to the best things that I've done than because I mean, glam hair, baby, being a girl is expensive. Learn how to do your makeup. I'm telling you now, and have one good hairstyle that you can always show up with, baby, because glam is annoyingly expensive. But I say all that to say you will take notice of the things that made your spirit soar and the things that made your spirit sad, and do more of the things that make your spirit soar and less of the things that make your spirit sad. Sometimes your spirit's gonna be sad when you gotta clock into your 9 to 5 that you really don't like. But it'll make space for you to invest in the things for your 5 to 9 that make your spirit just soar to places you'll be floating for the whole week off of one interview. So balance it, keep working until you can consistently do the things that make your spirit soar. And then also know, even when you get to that, whatever that dream job or dream moment in your life is, there's always going to be the nightmare associated with that. There's always joy and pain, always good and bad. Whatever it is that you think is the dream has a nightmare associated with it. Like there's just no other way to get around it. There will be new levels, new devils, like all the cliches, it's real. So just prepare yourself for as much as you can, but also be prepared to realize that there's always going to be something there to learn and something there to master, because it's just a new stage in your life. But I say, focus on how your spirit feels in those moments. Of course, bills matter. Have your bottom line for the month. If you're a freelancer, have your bottom line for the month of what you need to earn. And if you have to take a gig or two that you can't stand, but you know is going to pay some bills, take that gig and do 3 other things that you love. Try to balance it in the meantime, because bills are real. Also, taxes are real. Save 30% of what every check you make, because Uncle Sam is going to come, and he's going to come for you heavy. So
come on, financial advisor.
It's important. I'm still learning so much about finances, because I think if you're in school right now and you plan to be a journalist and a content creator, take a business course and take a course about how to run a personal single member LLC. And then take one about how to run an S Corp LLC. So you will not have to necessarily consistently count on a financial advisor, because that's another thing out your check, right? So just do your best to know as much as you can and consistently study your craft, because it's always elevating and changing. Opportunities are always changing, but be mindful of your spirit in all of it, because when you really sit down with it, will teach you and guide you towards where you're supposed to be.
Whew, the gems you are dropping. First off, I'm shocked, but I'm not shocked, because this is exactly why I had you on this show. You are delivering. You are exceeding what I even expected out of this episode. You have truly been able to craft a path for you that worked for you, and is honestly the reason why you're probably here today, because you are authentic to yourself. And the theme of this season is about the power of authenticity. And if there is anyone I should be talking to about this, it is you. It can be hard to find what is authentic to us, because social media will tell you this, and you start looking at your inspirations. I know personally, I watch interviews and listen to my inspirations talk, and I wonder, how the heck am I going to get there? Like, do I need to replicate exactly what they did, or can I do something different? And so I wanted to ask you, because you have such a clear and authentic voice, how long did it take for you to find your authentic voice? And in the season of you finding your voice, did you ever change it? And how long did it take for you to just find out who Gia Peppers is?
Great question. I'm still finding my authentic voice, because I think what happens on social media is you throw a lot of things to the wall, you see what your audience responds to, and then people teach you, if you want to be successful, you stick to that. Sometimes what is successful on your page isn't 100% of who you are. And so it's also important to free yourself to care about what you care about, even if no one else cares about what you care about. It's really important. I have friends who are super influencers with hundreds of thousands of followers, and they'll they will double check or think about things and doubt things that they are asked to do, because they're like, oh, my followers won't respond to that. Do you want to do it? Forget about your followers. Ooh, they follow you. That's you. You are the you. Like, try not to, change yourself too much to the point where you don't recognize who you are anymore. Because I also see a lot of our favorites, some of the girls on Instagram who are like the, BBL, Shorty Down, Versace, YSL, Birkin bag me, look like every other girl like that. And so sometimes I wonder, like, did you always want that life for yourself, or is it just what you had to do to fit in? Like, I know for a fact we've seen Carisha be this girl since she was twerking at the projects in Miami with that little 2001 skirt on, and she always wanted this life. So it authentically is her. She wanted to be the girl who was flued at, and she wanted the Birkins, and she wanted to be with the dudes who had it. Like, that's really what she wanted, and it's working because it's her, right? And I think the more that we start to just own who we are, you find your voice. And so for me, I definitely went through a lot of different stages of sticking things to the wall. I had my what phase did I have? And when you move to New York, you realize all the girls wear sneakers, because who's got time to wear heels all the time? There's a different New York element. The girls all wear certain big gold chain, not big, not like 80s, like gold chains. They've been layering, been doing it. Like the aesthetic of New York is real. And so I came out from DC, and we don't the girls wear sneakers, but like the girls don't always wear sneakers. You feel me? So I fell in love quickly with Jordans and ones. My little brother put me on game, because all the girls at Hot, their sneaker game was crazy all the time. I was like, what? This is the vibe? Let me find out. So I went to my sneaker girl, 100% hip hop lover phase, because I'd always loved hip hop. But when you are in the halls of Hot 97, you gonna love hip hop.
Yeah, you're gonna be hip hop.
You gonna be hip hop. You gonna talk all crazy. Like, he said what to you? That's insane, bro. Never let him come about you like that. You all of a sudden just straight from New York, straight from Brooklyn. You upset.
Wait, hold up, because this accent is on point though.
I have several accents that I pull out on a daily basis. I've always been obsessed with accents, even since I was a little girl. Like, I always loved accents. So New York has always been one that I've loved. And so when I was living in Brooklyn, like, I was like, what? That's crazy, bro. Like, can't believe they played you like that, son. Nah, B. Like, always always wanting to be that girl.
Wait, because can we book you in a New York? Like, we need to book you in a role that is.
I would love to be a New Yorker. I would love to be a New Yorker, maybe a rapper, like a New York rapper that was just like upset about something the whole movie. I would love that. But yeah, like I think that time was a time when I first got saved. I don't know if I'm very different, honestly, but like when you first saved, you're like, oh my goodness, the Lord has blessed me and everything in my life is a blessing and everything, saints, is good. Now, I was never a judgy saint. I can't be a judgy saint because the Lord's still working on me on a lot of things. I've had friends who like got saved and was like, y'all are all going to hell because you're all, and I was like, who? Judge not. Judge not, okay? Don't throw the stone. You know how it goes. I'm not playing with y'all. Don't judge not lest ye be judged. Don't do that. So I was never that saint. But when I first got saved, I was very big on like, I mean, I'm the same. So I was gonna say I was very big on something, but it's pretty much, yeah. When I first got saved, I made it like my platform was always going to be God's. And so that's when I decided to put my morning meditations up. Been doing that for years. I used to be, I will say, the parts of my personality that I feel like I've allowed the industry to kind of dim, which I'm working on allowing to come back up. Where I was super confident in speaking on camera when I wasn't booked for things, meaning I was much better at just speaking to camera. Now I overthink it. Now I'm like, oh no, but that's not, I ain't say it right. Oh, I said it weird, so I can't post that. And it's been a weird thing. And I think it comes from the realities of the times we live in. Cancel culture is very real. You are so terrified of saying the wrong thing because your whole career can be over with one wrong statement. And a lot of us are learning different things in real time. And, you just get to the point where you're like, well, someone else will say it better than I can. And so one of the things that I'm actively praying about is literally, God, give me what to say, because I know I'm here to say things. Just give me what to say and I'll say it. And also give me the courage to consistently say it, because I used to be very confident in doing that. And as life goes on and more no's happen to you and more things happen and you realize like, oh, maybe that's not a thing. And then you start to come back and be like, it's what I want to do though. And so I'm in the beginning of that, like getting back to just being more of myself, because I'm very funny. I'm very silly. I'm very outgoing in a way that like my socials don't necessarily reflect. And so yeah, it's a lot. Being a millennial, they had us in boxes that most of us are still learning to break out of. And so give us a chance. I know the Gen Zs be on us like, why aren't you saying that on your page? And you're like, because they used to say that the jobs will be looking at y'all page and you can't be out here twerking down on the page.
Gems from Gia. That's what this episode is going to have to be titled, because you have been dropping gems on gems on gems. And everything you've been saying has been super empowering. And I know for anybody who's listening behind the screen, they felt it too, because the message you've been sharing is just, it's so inspiring. You start off with saying, one, it's okay to make mistakes. And then two, going into our authentic voices. Our voices are meant to change because we are always evolving. I remember being told that, we're not supposed to be the same person we were yesterday, but we're always striving to be a better person the next day. And perfect imperfection, it does not exist, but we're always striving to get to that goal. So everything you're saying about your journey, your career, and, being okay to fill up spaces and just finding out who we are has been so, like, it's been good. It's been so good. I'm just very grateful to even be able to have this conversation with you, for you to share these gems with us. So I'm gonna wrap up. It's just Adiola, but it's still an awkward production. So I gotta ask you, can you recall some of your most awkward moments throughout your career or just everyday life? Because we all know that everybody got a little awkward moment to them. So can you recall a moment where you look back and you're like, well, that was a little awkward, Gia. Like, that was, what were we doing there? Can you recall that moment?
I could do a whole show about my awkward moments. I'm a very awkward person. I somehow have I've figured out how to be less awkward. But I, like, growing up in high school, my best friend Kristen was always like, why are you like this? Like literally, that's how awkward I am. What was my last awkward moment? Oh man, geez, Louise. Oh, the ebony 100 red carpet was a mess. And I say that to say, when you honor 100 people, all 100 of them are going to feel like they deserve to walk. And when you also honor 100 people and then have a certain time for those 100 people to walk, and there's LA traffic, they probably gonna miss that time. And so I missed my time to walk, but I had seen a lot of my friends and they were figuring it out. And so we had all kind of, everybody, it was crazy. I never seen the red carpet that packed. Like everybody was, kind of back in the area once you checked in. And then, I mean, that was my first time being honored. So I went all out. I had my girl style me. I had shoes. I had this bag I bought for myself for my birthday, baby. I was down. I was giving everything. I was pink. I was giving all the things. And I was like, there's no way I'm not gonna walk this carpet. I don't care what y'all say. I'm walking the carpet. I'm pretty sure everybody felt that way, but I was like, absolutely not. Me? Oh, me and myself?
Right.
We're walking the carpet. Got a new wig, honey. I'm walking the carpet. So I walked the carpet and oh no. So what happens is all these A-list celebrities start coming, who of course they're important to be seen at this brand. So the PR man is like, oh, okay, wait, there's like 4 girls in front of me. All of them are also media girls. And so we're all just like, but then Megan Good comes and they're like, okay, so you'll go next. You can go next. No, but it's fine. You can go next. Then Nia Long comes. Oh, no. But hold up. Y'all gonna wait. Then Issa Rae comes. No. Y'all gonna wait. So he's like, ooh, we ain't never gonna get on this carpet. Then like more actors come, Kendrick Sampson, like all these people. So little by little, like it starts even getting backed up where the celebrities are getting backed up. So now we're just all like, this, we just gonna wait. We're gonna figure that thing out. And I knew a couple of the PR girls, and they were like, Gia, you gonna be next. You gonna be next. They were looking at me, like, we gonna be next. They were from Michelle Huff. She from DMV. That's my baby. So she's like, you gonna be next. I was like, okay, let's do it. So we get there, and finally it's my turn. But Jay Ellis walks in, and the guy is like, no, Jay Ellis, you need to go. And Jay Ellis hears it. Like he heard him say to me, you're next. So Jay Ellis was like, nah, she's next. She's good. Like, no. And then Kendrick Sampson was going and they wanted a picture of them together. So then Jay went and took his picture. Jay Ellis turns to me and says, she needs to come on the carpet because she was next. And I was like, so one of the PR guys was looking at me like, so what you about to do? Like looking at me like I had done something wrong. And I was like, Jay Ellis has called me. Let me go on the carpet. So then Jay Ellis is directing my photo shoot on the carpet. And I kind of passed, and next thing you know, all my friends were still there. And I had to walk the carpet. And it was awkward because it's like, dang, I was with y'all, I was standing with y'all, we was all together. But things like that happen in this industry. It sucks so much because it's like, you want to take everybody with you, but then you got 4 PR people that's like, if anybody moves, it's gang violence. Like, and it was really different because, it's tough to have 100 people honored. It's a hard thing. But I say all that to say, like, I shout out to Jay Ellis. He literally directed my shoot. He was like, Gia, he was like, girl, you need to show off them shoes. I know you see the shoe. Y'all see the shoe. Like he was like, show the shoes, do a smile, do a turn. I was like, come on, director. So that was fun. But I say all that to say, my media girls, I think they walked 2 walked right before me and then 2 walked right after me. And it's just always awkward when you just have to like manage how well people know you or don't know you at all. Like it's always so beautiful to meet you and the young girls and the girls who are coming up because they're like, we love you, you're so great. And then I go to their carpet and they're like, who are you? You're not, no, you're supposed to, no. So it's always that's the awkward reality I live in. It's like sometimes I'm reporting on the carpet, sometimes I'm hosting the carpet, sometimes I'm on the carpet, sometimes like it's a different thing, but I always just I never walk in a place with expectations that they're gonna take care of me unless I know somebody that's like throwing the event. Because sometimes you will get embarrassed, and they like embarrassing people in LA. They really, really do.
And you know what? That's really all you can do. And you know, I just want to say thank you for just being you. Like just being truthful, being honest, being raw, being relatable. This interview, honestly, I feel like I'm talking to a sister. I feel like I'm talking to somebody, first off, who's a financial advisor, a comedian, an actor. I feel like we could have just started adding on a bunch of names to your title now because you gave us so much in this interview. But Gia, I really just gotta say again, thank you. Like this is amazing, and I hope for the listeners, you all enjoyed this interview. You took notes and you listened and you felt like you were here with us. And I'm so excited to see y'all in the next episode of It's Just Adiola. So I'll see y'all then. Bye.